it's Tim Hortons roll up to win, and it's back, and it's on the cup. Look, Maddie, ISO me. Oh. Yeah, but not just me. Steve and Jesse have them too. And we all would pick different things. You know, the more I think about it, the more I want the Volkswagen ID bus. Because I'm a dad, and it makes me feel young and cool, but also would have room for my pet and daughter and wife.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it makes you feel young?
Yes, it does. Like, I'm going to go surf in California, when really I'm just going to drive along Lakeshore here in Toronto and get salt and stuff in all the crevices of the car.
It's a good car to go like 15.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
The best prize is the Rakuten cash. Like, nothing's better than $1,000 in your pocket.
I do like that.
What about a week-long vacation in San Diego?
It's not to San Diego, but you should definitely take whatever
Yeah, but that's what I'm doing.
sell-off vacations is giving you and go to San Diego.
Now, listen, you can claim skill, but it is pure luck because it is a contest. You're going to need your Tim Hortons app, and you're going to need some coffee. You might even get some free coffee and donuts, too, to keep the party going, but it's only open until March 23rd. So open up that Tim's app and get rolling. This is our game, Canada, so let's not let this chance at millions of prizes pass you by. Play roll up to win on the Tim's app now. Rules apply. Canada only. No purchase necessary. Visit the Tim's app for details. Let's start.
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Yeah! Let's party! I'm ready to party! It's Steve's birthday, everybody! Woo!
Yay! For me!
That's why I'm ready to party. Steve
Happy birthday,
Dangle.
Steven.
Thank you.
37 years old. There's only like 5 NHL players older than you.
Thank you for that.
I think we started
There's
this
more
show
than that.
when we were 23. I think we started this show when we were 23.
20.
Now you're 30.
How old are you, Steve?
I'm 37.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that nuts?
Wow.
Adam's going to be 37 in a month and a day.
In a month and a day. Yeah, Steve and I are separated by mere days.
All right, NHL players by age.
I think the answer is 19.
And then, okay, we're gonna do NHL players, and then we're gonna put Steve in the Cliff Fletcher category.
Oh, no!
Things that didn't exist when Steve Dangle was born.
Oh, God. How many teams have come and gone? There were like
At least 6 or 7.
21 teams when I was born.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, like
Oh,
come and
no.
gone. Yeah, because
So the Whalers existed, now they don't.
Thrashers.
The Nordiques existed, now they don't.
Uh-huh.
The Thrashers came and went.
Jets came and went.
Jets came and went, then came back.
Yeah.
The Coyotes came and went,
Yeah.
might come back.
There might be 15 teams.
The Lightning weren't a team.
Yeah.
The Panthers weren't a team.
Sens weren't a team.
The Ducks weren't a team. The Sens weren't a team. The Sharks weren't a team. Wild, Blue Jackets.
So are you going to tell SJ?
Oh my God.
Are you going to tell SJ Sharkey when we're down there in a couple weeks about?
I'm older than you.
Haha.
Well, first of all, I'm going to tell him, do you need backup? Because there's a video going viral this morning of apparently someone challenged him to a fight.
The video sucks because you don't see what leads up to it.
Did he deserve it? You're right.
No, I want to
Right.
see why did this man step up to Sharky?
Yo,
I don't know, man.
stepped up Sharky.
Like,
come on now.
This dude needs to. I think he needs therapy.
You know what? I would love to see, maybe part of the content we can make in San Jose is teaching SJ Sharkey how to tussle. Do you think he knows how to throw him?
Listen, you're a shark, so you might not be familiar with the habits of mammals.
Yeah.
Let us show you the rabbit punch.
Yeah, slap fight because he's
Yeah.
got fins.
Oh.
You know?
Oh.
Jesse, what are you looking? Oh, you're still looking up the NHL players' ages?
Yeah, all of them keep.
It's very easy.
StatMuse.
NHL.com, and then you arrange by bio.
Old as hell.
Yeah,
And arrange by old as hell. I think I'm pretty
StatMuse is annoying that way.
I'm
Yeah.
sandwiched between Patrick Maroon and Brad Marchand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I got to correct the Brad Marchand record because what we were told and what actually came out after the show on Monday was
Not even kind of.
not even a little close.
No.
Not even a little close. Jesse, we'll get to the Marchand stuff because it's who cares. But what we really need to get down to the breaking news is who in the NHL is currently older than Steve.
And this is just skaters.
Bio info.
Because there's a handful of goalies too.
Okay, hold on.
I think. And by a handful, I mean they could literally fit in my hands.
You got him there?
Yeah,
carry
we can do this.
All right, here we go. Here we
There's
go.
like two of them.
All right. Okay. So The names are Ryan Suter,
So we're looking for people born before March 12th, 1988.
Brent Burns, Corey Perry, Alex Ovechkin, Evgeny Malkin, Derek Ryan, Trevor Lewis, Jack Johnson, Ryan Reeves, Mark Edward, Vlasic, Chris Letang, Alec Martinez, Sidney Crosby, Anze Kopitar, Matt Zuccarello's older than
I
you.
did not know that.
Nick Foligno, Jeff Petrie, Claude Giroux,
A long list.
Eric Johnson, and no, Eric Johnson is younger than you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
So the
so
list is 18.
There are 18 players. older
18
than Steve.
skaters.
Skaters.
Now go to goalies. Because I think, Fleury's older for sure. Maybe Cam Talbot?
Wait, all skaters.
How the hell do you get to goalie?
Goalies are a different category. I have to go to the goalie one. It's okay.
See, this
It'd
conversation
be Marc-Andre Fleury,
makes us sound older. Cam Talbot?
Cam Talbot.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly? No, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. Well, we can just do skaters.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think skaters
18
is good.
skaters. Well, and fellas, if I can, I already got a birthday present today.
Oh, ready. Give it to me.
And I want to show you it because I'm going to, I got this coffee right here in an Adam Wild mug. It's got his face on it. But no, this isn't going to do. Not on my birthday.
What is it?
Fleury, Quick, and Talbot is the answer.
Oh, so the answer is,
Trey.
whoa, there's still more than 20 players older than me. Love that. Love that.
We're going to follow this
Blackjack.
every year from now on and just see it get
we're
shaved
at
down.
21.
21.
In 2025, we're at 21 people are older than you.
Next year, my prediction is it's closer to like 12.
What year is it 0?
I think 41.
41.
Because I think that Ovi's playing until he's like 44.
No,
No
he's
way.
going. Did you see the report about him going to Russia
Is he going to go to
at
Russia?
the end of this contract?
Oh, after 2026? Yeah, that
said that?
he's not going to re-sign.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well then.
We'll see. We'll see.
Damn.
We'll see. All right, bring it up.
I got a gift from Tina and Gary.
Oh,
I got a gift from my
Tina and
parents.
Gary, the parents.
Yep.
Monfrere and Monprere.
Tina and Gary, they love a few things. Each other, their children, Canadian tuxedos. Mm-hmm. They love a Canadian
Oh, they
tuxedo.
do. They rock a good Canadian tuxedo.
They love wearing it to formal events.
Yeah.
And they love kitschy stores in places like Port Perry, Ontario.
Oh, God. Did you get a shot glass?
No, I got a coffee mug.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they said, you know what? You could even show that off at the podcast if you wanted to.
All right.
Well, Mom and Dad, I'm going to show off
Oh, my
warning.
God.
May start talking about hockey mug
That's so
that they got from a kitschy store in Port Perry,
That's the most
Ontario.
Facebook ass coffee mug
Yeah.
that's ever existed.
Does my Leafs offend you?
I was born in March, and that makes me a Leaf fan.
Badass.
You're not going to drink that. Oh,
I
you're
didn't
going right to
spill
the.
a drop.
Wow.
I'm so impressed with myself
That's
right now.
amazing. Here, I'll take this.
So I gotta drink out of Tina and Gary's mug.
Warning, may start talking about hockey.
Uh-oh.
He's so bad.
Now I'm ready to talk about hockey. Woo! Thanks, Mom and Dad.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
I do appreciate Tina and Gary's sense of humor with this stuff, and I think it comes from a real place.
Oh, it does.
Like they're legitimately like that's a good one. Yeah.
They think it is
So
a good one. What are
they're-
you talking about?
Are they live, laugh, love people?
No.
They don't have like life's better at the beach, or like the signs of that ilk.
No, but growing up, they did have, I believe it was a plate, talking about God and the footprints, and then there was only one set of footprints, and it. You know that poem? Oh, I guess you don't.
No, 'cause I'm
Jesse,
not
do you know
Catholic.
that poem? Since you're not godless like Adam.
I'm a heathen.
I don't remember.
It's something about God carrying you, and that's why there was only one pair of footprints on the beach.
Oh, I know that
Anyway,
one,
they had
yeah.
a plate like that on the wall growing up.
Okay.
Yeah. Adam doesn't know that one.
Yeah.
He's going to hell.
That's good.
So,
Yeah,
That's okay.
that's all right. I'm not confirmed yet. It could always be confirmed later.
You
on,
might
right?
be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Union's pretty good.
Yeah. Sure.
It's all pretty good.
Apparently I get some gifts too if I do that.
Yeah. Oh man.
If I have an
booster?
adult communion, will I get a good booster?
No, you won't.
No?
When I was in grade 3, though, I got $300, and I thought I was Mr. Burns.
Whoa.
Dude, I thought I was rich.
Wow. Of course. $300 when you're that young?
Yeah.
And that era?
And it sat in my bank account for many years and accrued. dollars of interest.
Jesse,
Dollars.
I know that there are bigger stories. There are bigger stories to talk about. We need to correct the Marchand record. We need to talk about MIkko Rantanen. We need to talk about Rasmus Dahlin. We need to talk about the Leafs getting a win, needing one, almost giving it up, but getting it anyway. Mm-hmm. But the first and only thing I would like to talk about, the thing I think that matters most if you're a fan of this show, is the video I just sent you, Jesse. Do you have it ready to go?
Oh, boy.
I can pull it up.
I need you to pull this video up. And I know Steve has seen this, but I think the rest of you need to see this because this didn't go nearly as viral as it needed to go. Okay? This should have been big. This should have been huge news, but we've had other things going on. We've been distracted, and we're slipping. This is Patrick Waugh talking about the enigma that is Pierre Engvall. Please enjoy.
It's not ready.
Oh, it's not ready.
Yeah,
Okay,
please
but
enjoy in a
when it
moment.
will be ready. So eventually,
That's not Pierre. That's some other handsome man.
yeah, that's birthday boy Steve.
Oh.
Yeah. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because Jesse's just taking his time now. He's trying to make me look bad. I know
No,
it's what he's doing.
honestly, I was just waiting for the internet.
Oh, okay. The internet's bad. Well, I'll just say this. Pierre Engvall is everything that we said he was.
Man,
He's everything. The good and the bad.
mostly the bad, though.
Yeah, sure. No.
The bad is the reason he's not an elite player. He's not even Ilya Mikheyev.
Yeah.
And he has the raw tools to be more. He has the raw tools to be more than Ilya Mikheyev. Mikheyev has 15 goals. He's Ilya Mikheyev. Mm-hmm. Is he overpaid? Sure. Maybe a bit. I don't think it's gross, though. Defensively minded forward, fast as hell, can chip in the occasional goal and a few points. Pierre Engvall, heading into last night, I don't know how he did, had 8 points.
Still does.
Oh, my God.
Here's what Patrick Waugh had to say post-game about him this week.
What have you seen from Pierre Engvall recently, and what do you expect from him with Cizikas and Sipilkov tonight?
I just hope that's going to bring the spark he needs. I mean, I just hope that Pierre's going to play a little more, drive the net more, bring pucks to the net more, be more involved physically. So hopefully that's giving him the chance to play with Casey and Seppi. I mean, that'll give him that spark that he needs to get going.
He doesn't have it. And I said that from day one, the day that trade was made. He doesn't do those things.
Pierre Engvall averaged 15 minutes of ice time when he was averaging 13 in Toronto, 15 when he got traded to New York. 15 minutes last year. He's averaging 11 minutes a night.
Lou Lamoriello got tricked. He scored, I think it was 9 points in 18 games after the Leafs traded him to the Islanders. Mm-hmm. He was really good. He was a half a point a game player. And he signed him to $3 million times 7. There's a world where that contract is preposterously good. And the fact that Engvall is not even a $3 million player breaks my heart.
Why?
He has it all of it. He is 6'5", heavy, built like a god. He can shoot. We've seen him shoot. He's one of the fastest players on any team. Leafs called him Biscuit for Seabiscuit because he was so friggin' fast. Can kill penalties. Leafs had him on the secondary power play unit for a little bit. Shows how times have changed. He can play center, and I thought he was okay at it for a while. And he's got 8 points in 44 games. You stink. Your replacement level. This dude is going to... If the Islanders... there's no way they can trade him. Surely not. Maybe? Okay. You know how one of my favorite games that we play every 2 episodes is how can you trade Philip Grubauer?
Yes.
He makes way more than Engvall. Engvall has way more term. Could you do that? I don't even know. He's I told you, Islanders fans know this from the day I made that video where he was traded to the Islanders for a 3rd round pick. I said this guy can't crack an egg. Don't expect him to get physical. Sheldon Keefe begged this guy, begged him takes the weirdest paths to pucks, makes the weirdest decisions, takes the strangest penalties, and will not use his body.
Pierre Engvall will cost the Islanders, if he's bought out, just $1 million for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 till 2034, 35, $1 million against the cap.
Get ready to learn Bridgeportese, buddy.
But the cap savings would be $2 million a year up until 2029, 2030.
One thing that's fun about modern technology is we say things about these players and there's evidence to back it up. So one thing I like to look at is NHL Edge, and NHL Edge and their chart on Pierre Engvall illustrates exactly what we think Pierre Engvall is. He is in the 85th percentile of top skating speed. He is in the 80th percentile of speed bursts over 32 kph. And then we get to the fun stuff.
This is the final boss of Busy Nothing.
Where he's below 50th in skating distance, meaning he's one of the least going anywhere on the ice guys, but he's going fast. He's going nowhere. He's below 50th in shots on goal, below 50th in shooting percentage, below 50th in goals, below 50th in offensive zone time. He is out there skating fast, going nowhere.
Do you think he's confused when there isn't music on during his shifts because he thinks he's at a public skate every single game?
That's exactly what his stats say he's doing. He's just skating around real fast, going nowhere. He's at a public skate at Nathan Phillips Square, going in a circle, not doing much hockey.
You have it. You have all of it. I don't understand. His trade tree is kind of fun. So the Leafs got a 3rd-round pick from him from the Islanders. They used that 3rd-round pick to package with a 5th to trade to the Capitals for Joel Edmondson, and the Capitals traded one of those 3rds and another 3rd to the Vegas Golden Knights for Logan Thompson.
Oh, no way.
So a big part of the reason why the Capitals are one of the best teams in the league this year is because the Leafs traded Pierre Engvall.
So that is still going.
That's a crazy, underrated Dubas trade. Underrated Dubas trade is getting a 3rd.
Yeah, because it was a 3rd rounder in 2024 for Engvall. And a lot of Islanders fans were very excited about it at the time. Like,
they should have been.
Solid bottom 6 ad.
Yeah, it's a guy who can do anything, and chooses not to. It's crazy.
Nothing.
Look at that chin. That's a great jawline.
He has every gift any human being could ask for.
Crazy, huh?
And he won't use it. He won't use it.
Befuddling.
Yeah, It's funny to see Patrick Waugh's reaction because that's a guy who's wired. I mean, I don't know. He's a little nuts. And, is that going to provide Pierre with the spark? And bless him for gassing up his guy with his words. But his body language says, I can't change the kind of person this is.
Yeah. Yeah. He is who he is, and he's here.
And there was a part of me when that trade happened that was I wonder if they turn him into an Islander. If the Islanders can turn him into an Islander, they're playing him with Casey Cizikas. They need the next generation of the identity line, and his identity is the exact opposite of what any team with any aspirations of winning should want.
Wow.
Not in the AHL. He won a Calder Cup.
You can't teach a new horse new tricks.
New horse?
That's the same.
The man is 28. I think we know what kind of player he is.
Yeah.
The idea of, hey, this 28-year-old's going to have a resurgence in his career and be somebody he's never been, I think is wishful thinking.
You gotta.
He will.
He has so many years left. I want there to be a trade out there for him. He has so many years left.
Yeah, but,
I think he is what he is at this point.
Yeah. 5 years remain on this contract after the season. So
Lou.
That alone.
What are you doing?
That alone should get you dropped as a GM. That's a rough deal.
Lou has several things under his belt that anyone not named Lou Lamoriello would probably get their wrist whacked.
Yep.
Let's. How old is Lou Lamoriello? Let's play that game.
No, we're not playing that game.
No, it's just me then. It's fine.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to correct from last episode, because we weren't aware of it until after, was a few things, actually. Aaron Ekblad being suspended
Oh my God,
Brad
yeah.
Marchand's actual offer. Elliot Friedman did come out and say that the Bruins offer was somewhere in the 6 to 6.5 range. Marchand wanted somewhere in the 7 to 7.5 range, and they couldn't bridge the gulf, but it was about $500,000. So that makes a lot more sense than $3 million, which is what we thought or what we were initially sort of told. $6 million for Brad Marchand, 47-point player so far this year, injured but older, and I can see where the Bruins, like, you look at what Julian Breezewell had to do. I can kind of see the Bruins' logic now.
Yeah, I can too. The way the meeting was portrayed is Marchand asked for it, and Marchand made it seem like he'd be willing to move.
Yeah.
So what's the number? We know this much. All this stuff gets leaked. It's like, all right, we know this much. Just say the number.
Right.
Just tell us.
Right.
675. Is that what it was? I'm guessing. I'm pulling that out of thin air.
I mean, he clearly wasn't willing to move enough. If they're
Him or the Bruins or both.
Because you said in the meeting, Brad Marchand was willing to move on the number,
Yeah.
but he wasn't willing to move enough to the Bruins number.
He's
right?
in a tricky position because, like, his idea of moving is probably less than what we anticipate. But the reason for that is he's one of the few stars of this league who it worked out in a way where he never got his payday.
Yeah.
He got a greater payday than you or I, but the most money he ever made in a season is what?
The current contract he's on.
Which is like
Six
something.
6'4", 6'3", yeah.
Marchand is going to have a Hall of Fame career probably by the time it's all said and done, or a career that is in the conversation for the Hall of Fame, and he will have never made over 7. What do you?
Yeah, I want to just 6'125".
He's never even made 6'2".
6'125". That was the 8-year contract he signed, and yeah, that's the highest paid he's ever been.
That's insane. That's insane. And it just worked out that way. Like
It's the same thing with Crosby's contract in the context of like him not being Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
But he signed his $8.7 million deal in an era where 8.7 was crazy.
Yes.
But it went through an area where the salary cap exploded.
Yeah.
And he should have been making 12 sometime in there, 13 maybe because he's Sidney Crosby sometime in there. And then he's at the end of it, he's like, I'm old and I missed all of that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sign for 8.7 again.
and like
Brad was unlucky and the same thing happened.
But that's his weird jersey number, and he loves 87. Like, Marchand could have been like, give me 6.3, and they didn't even give him that.
No.
Like, oh, man, he never – you miss your window. You miss your window. And this is we keep talking about the summer and Marner, and there's other players. Maybe you should take a short deal.
That's what I keep telling you.
Depending on your age, and how risk averse you are. But what screwed Marchand up was, well, it's timing, but he also had he made 4 for a little bit.
Yeah, from 2013 to 2017, he made 4.5.
And then he signed this deal before he really went off.
Yes.
I remember he signed that deal. I was like, ooh, that's a little rich for Marchand. And then the World Cup of Hockey came around, and they had him with Bergeron and Crosby. And I was like, Marchand? Because he hadn't really gone off. And then he went off. Damn. You miss out sometimes.
Yeah. So you kind of see the logic by Don Sweeney and the Bruins brass and why they why they were reluctant to keep him at a higher number, because like 6 kind of makes sense for where he is at his career, but that doesn't excuse the way they've handled this organization over the last like 12 months. And I think the management there, the president and the GM, have done a poor job managing this team over the last 12 months.
There's something to be said for keeping your fans happy.
Yeah, and the fans are upset because this team should have been a contender this year. They should be in the playoffs, and I think a large reason because of how management handled the team this season is the reason why they're not.
He still might be back. Still might be back.
You think he might resign this summer?
No.
No?
No, I don't.
Well, Don Sweeney wouldn't close the door.
I don't know.
It was so weird seeing Brad in Panthers gear too. Like, he had the press conference while we were on the show, so we never really got to show it. But like,
You see his slip up?
what did he say?
He's talking about the Panthers. He goes like, yeah, well, they bounced us from the playoffs, the Bruins. It's
wow.
weird.
That is weird. It is weird.
weird.
It's very weird. But that's what happens.
Yep.
Just imagine what it's going to be like when Sid's in Colorado. It's going to be crazy.
Adam.
By the way, an hour ago, and again, random story, but thought it was worth bringing up. The New York Rangers extended Jonathan Quick.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Another year, $1.55 million.
How much?
So
Sorry?
$1.55 million. So Jesse, we know that Jonathan Quick will be in the NHL by the time Steve's birthday rolls around, or at least still have a contract in the NHL.
Still have a contract.
Okay, here's my question. Jonathan Quick, obviously, it's worked out very, very well in New York for him, right? He's going to be 40.
Man, that's
season.
old.
That's so old.
That's so old.
This is I think this is like a kind of a fun story because I honestly thought he was toast.
He looked extraordinarily toast. He was matter at the bottom of your toaster toast.
And it's not like he's been like lights out this year. I mean, .896 save percentage isn't great. The Rangers aren't great.
No, 896 in today's NHL is fine, below average. It's right in the wheelhouse of what a backup is.
And he's playing well, and it's a pretty cheap backup, $1.55 million. I bet
it's all right.
Next year that'll be variable. Because they haven't changed that in a while. They haven't changed that number. That number stayed the same.
Yeah, but you don't want to bury this guy. This is your backup goalie.
Well, if you needed to. Like if he started putting up Grubauer numbers, you'd be able to be like, all right, Jonathan.
You'd be fine.
Jonathan Quick has been very good. Like the numbers don't tell the whole story. He has been like one of the brightest spots of the New York Rangers for 2 years now. Last year, he was actually lights out, where he was basically undefeated for most of the season. It was unreal. And then this year, he's been really good in the games that they've needed him to win. It's a great signing for your backup. And yeah, I don't imagine they'll send him down anytime soon. It's games like when they lost to Columbus the other night where Quick was in, like it's a whole team effort around him that's also terrible. The goaltending didn't bail you out, and because he allowed, I think it was like 7 goals that night against Columbus when they needed that win, because that's the team you're fighting against for the wild card spot. But the entire team, when a goalie allows 7 goals, it's not just on the goaltender.
Speaking of 7 goals, Jesse, I'm sorry.
About what?
Well, on Saturday, Stolarz got lit up by the Avalanche, which means he's no longer tied with Connor Hellebuck for first place.
Hellebuck has the lead now.
Sole possession. Jesse, not only did you say Hellebuck would have a sub 920 save percentage,
there's still time.
He is first place. He's first place by such a wide margin.
I didn't know the season was over. I looked at the calendar and it didn't say April 17th.
He'd have to get shelled like at least 3 times.
Could happen.
It could.
Yeah. We'll see.
Oh, no.
The jury's still out.
Yeah, who knows? He could lose the Vezina. Honestly, I would give him Hart vote, I think.
Probably.
If I had, you have 5 Hart votes as a voter, he gets one of my 5. Probably.
Has to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the list in my head.
Would he even get a Vezina vote for you, Jesse?
Right now, no. There's no way. When goaltenders like
Right
Anthony
now.
Stolarz exist, like no.
What would Connor Hellebuck need to do with 18 games to go to get you over the line? Just not forget a Hart vote, Vezina vote.
Finish with a save percentage above 920. Prove me wrong. There's still time. So once he does it, then I gotta eat my muffins.
Eat my muffins.
That's not a saying.
That's not a saying.
Yeah, it is.
No,
I don't
eat
say
it
it all the time.
You shouldn't be eating something you enjoy after saying something.
When you're
like
wrong,
that.
you gotta eat your muffins.
No, I don't think that's how it works.
I don't enjoy muffins.
You don't enjoy muffins? What do you mean you don't like muffins? What are you talking about?
I think this ball of bread isn't something I really enjoy.
Ball of bread.
I don't know.
You do not
with
say that in
raisins?
the hometown of Mystic Muffin.
No, I'm just gonna sit here and eat my muffins. Like,
I've never been to Mystic Muffin.
doesn't
Is
sound
it
like a
good?
good time.
I haven't either.
Oh, okay.
But every time I drive by it, I'm like, yeah.
By the way, I want to say lemon cranberry, the best muffin. Lemon
Oh,
cranberry.
it's a really good one.
Yeah.
It is a good one.
If it's done right.
Do I need a muffin?
You probably could use a muffin.
I think I could use a muffin.
That's
it's my
right.
birthday.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
You can calories don't count, baby.
Some guy cut me off on the way to work today. I was like, come on, man. It's my birthday.
Wow.
Did you tell him that?
You should have yelled that out the
No,
window.
but I said it calmly.
I am driving a Mazda and it's my birthday.
Yeah. Someone saw my Mazda outside of our London event and they were like, I thought you were kidding.
No.
Why would we? What a joke is
Why?
that?
Why is that a joke?
Where's
Mazda's
the
a
joke?
Nice,
Guys.
reliant automobile.
Guys, it's a hockey podcast. Like,
Yeah, what?
I drive a Mazda, man. I don't know what you thought I drive.
I don't know where the joke would have been. I think the joke is that you actually drive it.
No, the joke is the helicopter's the joke.
Yeah, that's the joke.
that
I
is
don't
the
have
joke.
a helicopter.
Yeah.
Although I should.
Anyways, Hellebuck, prove me wrong. Get your 920 and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk on April 17th when you do it. So, yeah, that's it. I'll eat my muffins that day.
BetMGM is an official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League and has your back all season long. Jesse and Steve, the Leafs and Panthers play each other tomorrow. Who are you betting on?
The Leafs, they always win big games.
Jesse.
It is as must-win as a mid-March game as you can get. The Leafs better win them.
Okay, all right. But would you put $2 Jesse?
I would never put money on the Leafs.
Wow.
They break my heart too
Unless
much.
you were gonna bet on a former Leaf scoring against them.
Yes,
Right?
or I actually do love betting the Leafs to come back in games when I get them like plus 1.5 goals or plus 2.5 goals.
There you go.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
let's-
actually lying.
Let's
Do
hope
bet
he
the
doesn't get
Leafs
to
a
do
lot.
that.
I'm going live, Lawton, love.
Okay.
And what?
No.
It's very good.
Raise your game to the
$2
next
Steve.
level with BetMGM, a sportsbook worth a selling and an official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 19 years of age or older to wager. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or somebody close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario. So another thing that happened after we were off the air yesterday or the other day was Aaron Ekblad
Man.
was suspended until game 3 of the first round.
If they make it,
If
right, Jesse?
if they make it.
Panthers?
Still a month.
Yeah.
No, they're different. They're
Yeah.
not
What's weird
They're
about
not
this,
frauds.
I just want to say, so it was for performance enhancing substances. So what's so strange is that the NHL technically counts playoff games as 2 games. So I'm like, does that 18th and 19th, or sorry, 19th and 20th game, does that actually just count for 1 game and he'll be back for game 2?
No. The 2 games thing in the playoffs is just kind of how Peros and his crew evaluate suspensions that happen during the playoffs. It's not like a thing that's actually written. It's just the philosophy behind it is that playoff games are worth more, so they kind of don't suspend as
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
So here's my other one. What if they're like, well, no, it doesn't. It's technically a regular season suspension, so he'll be suspended game 1 and 2 next year,
That's also
but not for the playoffs.
Okay, the Department of Player Safety suspends players like a kid in your elementary school who sucks to play with.
Who just makes up the rules
Yeah.
as the game
I
goes
brought the
along.
ball, so it's my rules.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Great.
Yeah. Oh,
And
no,
then-
if you hit the ball against the fence, then it's a turnover, and they just made it up because they wanted the ball.
Yeah.
And the next day, there's 7 balls because everyone brought one because they don't want you to make your head ass rules.
Yeah.
Ralph, you piece of shit.
Who's Ralph?
This is Ralph's the name of the kid.
Oh, okay.
His kids these days are named Ralph, right?
The suspension's very interesting from like a few different standpoints. The salary cap implication is very funky because I don't want to conspiracy theory this, but if they had suspended him 4 days earlier, the Florida Panthers have the opportunity to use that salary cap space because the suspension is lifted within the playoffs. They don't have to maintain the room to bring back Ekblad, so they would have been able to utilize that salary cap space, and then the new player they add could have just been on the roster for the playoffs.
And I saw the observation made, not from me. I wouldn't say this out loud. Heavens no. The Seth Jones trade was very conveniently timed. It was very conveniently timed. I'm not Adam. I think what you think I'm implying is that they knew something was coming and that's why they made the trade. And frankly, I'm appalled you would make that accusation. Frankly, I think that's wrong of you to do to me on my birthday.
I would be not shocked if the NHL gave the Panthers the heads up on that.
What? Whoa! I would be. Adam, they have integrity. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think it even has to be the NHL to give them the heads up. I think Aaron Ekblad himself probably knew this was coming and informed the Panthers. So
And you know what? They probably were like, we'll give you the trade deadline to figure this out.
yeah, and I wonder. This is the NHL in a nutshell where we don't get more information on these issues. Like, we don't even know what substance he was suspended for, when he failed the drug test, when they decided on the suspension. There's no clarification from the NHL side to not let us go down these rabbit holes and possibilities where, like, hey, they knew this was coming, so they traded for Seth Jones. They knew this was coming, so they delayed it till after the trade deadline. We just have nothing from the NHL side, so we're allowed to speculate on all these things because you have not given us a yes or no on either side. And that's just how the NHL is always going to be run, as long as Gary and his friends are always running it, and that's how it's been run till this point, which is a shame.
Listen, Dick Pound, who is don't censor me. That's the name of a person. He's what is he like?
Head of the anti-doping for the IOC.
Yeah, head of anti-doping.
Was
he
anyway.
talked about how like the NHL's drug testing policy is like the biggest joke, and we all said, "Shut up, Dick," because Dick Pound acts like a guy named Dick Pound, and so no one likes him. However, you might be right. Like, I think the reason you're not seeing more of a stink being kicked up, like, okay, I'll give you two teams who should be all over the very fascinating timeline of this: the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning should be all over this. And I think they might not be, and I think all 31 other teams in the league might not be, because
It would be a shame if you got a bunch of not so random drug tests next year.
yeah, I think they see a bunch of clear cups with orange lids and they go, oh shit.
Yeah. So this
so-
hasn't happened, by the way, in 6 years. But I just thought you'd find
An entire league, 700 plus skaters,
what Ekblad said.
6 years, all of them totally clean. Don't worry.
He said the news that I had a failed random drug test was a shock. Ultimately, it was a shock. It was a shock to everybody. Let's be honest, because I mean, who gets caught? But anyway,
It's not a drug test, it's an IQ test.
ultimately, I made a mistake by taking something to help me recover from recent injuries without first checking with the proper medical and team personnel. I have let my teammates, the Panthers organizations, and our great fans down. For that, I am truly sorry. I've accepted responsibility for my mistake. Fully prepared to return when my suspension is over. I have learned a hard lesson and cannot wait to be back with my teammates. Now, I want to say this. NHL players, and you know, you can't paint with a totally broad brush. Everybody's different, but like, they're pretty attuned to their bodies and they're pretty aware of things that, you know, and listen, like,
I mean, if any player should be taking steroids, it's NHL players.
well,
Because 82 games of full contact is insanity. It's insanity.
yeah.
I don't know how anyone gets through.
So listen, is there shenanigans? There's always shenanigans. It's the NHL. But what it does do is it gives Aaron Ekblad a really nice rest right before the playoffs. And it's just what the Panthers ordered. Like, you know, you got Marchand out, you got Tkachuk out, now you got Ekblad out. The team's still winning, doesn't seem to matter. And they're all going to be as fresh as they possibly can be for the playoffs.
Who won, Boston or Florida? All I saw was the fight
Let me find out.
where Sam Bennett lost, and it was funny.
Oh, to Zadorov?
Yeah, he lost.
Boston won.
Boston won. He lost a fight to Zadorov because he refused to let go of Pasternak.
Yeah. That's good, right?
Which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's a key opportunity for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who play tomorrow night against the Florida Panthers.
You have to.
You got to win
have
that
to
game.
win that fucking
Jesse,
Oh my God.
have you any thoughts on Aaron Ekblad, or shall I move on?
There's a few other things, like little things to go into there. One, yeah, I think it's an opportunity for Tampa and the Toronto to take this division. It's not as cut and dry as just like, hey, they get a little break here, because you're coming back cold in the playoffs. Like, Aaron Ekblad's just being thrown into game 3 of the playoffs. It's not going to be so easy, but he's going to be like getting ready each time. Like, he's going to be ready to go, but it's still going to be an adjustment period. So we'll see how Florida can contend with that. And Brad Marchand is still out a couple weeks. We don't know. He doesn't have a return time yet, so he's going to be shaky going into the playoffs. We don't know how much hockey he's going to play, so there's some adjustments there.
They wanted to win the division too.
Yeah, Tampa, Toronto, get ready, win this thing. This is your chance. And then the doping side of things from the NHL, it's always been I don't know what the right word is. It's always been some sort of a facade that they're actually trying to catch these players. I think the way they do the testing illustrates that we have this in place because we need to from a legal perspective and to adhere to government regulations, but they don't want to catch guys.
No.
They do testing team-wide one time in training camp and one time during the regular season. So it's random when you get picked in training camp and what time you get picked during the regular season. So, but it's only once per team in each of those areas. And then individual players get randomly tested. I think it's a maximum of 3 times. Some players don't get tested at all because it's random, but a maximum of 3 times during a regular season. And then you can get selected during the playoffs as well. So if you had reached those 3 thresholds at some time in the regular season, like your carte blanche, you're also not allowed to be tested on a game day. So I don't know how people out there are so in tune with sports science, but there are things you can take from one day to another that can enhance your performance. So if you were to take something and you know you can't be tested on a game day, you could just flush it through your system in that way. Or if you're just tested, then you have weeks or months to do whatever you need to do to your body for that certain amount of period because you know you're not going to be tested again. And during the offseason, only a maximum of 60 players are allowed to be tested at random during the offseason at any point.
My question with that is always like, what if a player is like with his family and they rented a house in Italy for a month or something? You got to fly back and take a test? Like,
right.
I'd be like, no, come find me. Come find me. I'm doing my HGH in Italy. Thank you very much on the Amalfi Coast.
With how sparse the NHL is with testing, they're not trying to catch these players. Things are just in place for the sake of being in place. And if you get caught, that means you really fucked up.
Well,
at the end of the day.
I'm really missing the point here, but I'm trying to think of all the doping cases in the NHL, like in my memory. And there's very few. They're all defensemen.
Interesting.
Aaron Ekblad, Nate Schmidt was most recent. In 2018? 17?
I believe.
Sean Hill, Brian Berard, are all defensemen. Jose Theodore got bit, but do you remember that?
No, barely. I remember Sean Hill and Brian Berard, though.
Yeah, but it was embarrassing for him because, like, what? How come you tested positive? How come you tested positive? And finally he had to be like, I'm going bald. Like... he took some sort of hair supplement. Yeah. I mean, everyone's always got some excuse.
Yeah.
If you pay attention to boxing or UFC, which I don't anymore, and you'd know that if you listen to SDP VIP, but they always have the most ludicrous reasons for why they tested positive. Yeah. I want to say Nate Schmidt pulled the Canelo Alvarez and said, "Oh, I had tainted meat."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And John Jones, his excuse, I believe, was gas station dick pills.
Right.
And it's a clip I saw from Joe Rogan. No, I didn't willingly turn on a full episode of Joe Rogan. And Joe was basically like, well, how come it happened? And John gave a very unsatisfactory answer. And Joe pushed him like he does with all his guests. That's a joke.
So listen, Aaron Ekblad will be back. My question was and Mark Lazarus and Zach Powell did a little breakdown of this in the Athletic, which is confusingly now NewYorkTimes.com/athletic. I don't know why they did that, but anyway, they said, will this hurt his value going into free agency? And I'm like, gigantic Stanley Cup winning, 30 assists in 56 games. Yeah, I don't think so. This will, as an unrestricted free agent this year, they'll be like, cool, man. Did that happen? Oh, I forgot. Pff, he's going to get $1 bazillion.
When was the last time you ever heard of Nate Schmidt? Oh, very recently, because he's still in the league.
Yeah, whatever contract was out there for Aaron Ekblad is still out there.
Yeah, of course.
That contract value or amount has not changed.
Well, how long is the list of NHL players to test positive twice?
It's zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
It was 2018, the Nate Schmidt.
Nah, there you go.
And I don't know if you mentioned Sean Horcroft before that.
Sean Horcroft. Hey, a forward. What year was that?
That was 2016.
Oh, okay.
That was the last case before Schmidt.
There you go. All right. Well, so the most recent non-defenseman was nearly a decade ago.
2016, Sean Horcroft, who was 37.
Yeah. No, wow, that's old.
He had admitted that he had taken something while trying to recover from an injury.
Yeah. Well, I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect. Hey, listen, I wasn't just juicing. Like, I'm hurt. I tried to get better.
And just to go off what I just said, I think that happens quite often, and a lot of players take a lot of things to recover from injuries.
Sure.
And they are very smart about it.
Yeah.
And he also said, I'm just looking up Sean Horkoff's statement. He said, I was recovering from an injury. I tried treatment that I believed would help speed up the process. So, and that's exactly what Aaron Ekblad said. Also, this is a weird aside, but do you remember when Sean Horkoff signed his extension in Edmonton for $5 million, and the Flames Twitter account tweeted out how stupid the Oilers were for signing him to that?
Oh, yeah.
And it was so
I forgot
This is a long time. This is early Twitter days, but it was like 2011. I remember being in Calgary.
That's hockey Twitter iceberg.
And the Calgary Flames tweeted out, they're like, wow, these Oilers are idiots. Why would you sign Horkoff? That's crazy money. And it was. $5 million a year was crazy at that time.
But I think someone just forgot to log in.
They forgot to log out of their account and log into their own, their burner. So
Tell you what, log out permanently.
I just tried to
Might
find.
not have a job.
I tried to find a picture of it, and it's gone. Like, they scrubbed it. So that screenshot that's a bummer. I want to talk a little Mikko Rantanen and Rod Brind'Amour, because there's been back and forth between Mikko Rantanen's agent, Octagon's Andy Scott, and Rod Brind'Amour. And the first thing comes from a ESPN affiliate station. We can't play the audio because it's from the Adam Gold Show on 99.9 The Fan. And essentially, Brind'Amour said this when he showed up, being Rantanen. He said there's 4 teams I'll go play for, and you're not one of them. And the question is, should we have known that before we traded for him? And it kind of.
Can I help him with that?
Sure.
Yes.
So I thought that was really, really interesting because.
You want me to read the quotes? I have it here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so Maddie, if you want to bring it up there. Brind'Amour said, there's not been one guy that has left here because they didn't like it here. That was except for Mikko. And he didn't not like it. When he showed, he said, there's 4 teams I'll go play for, but you're not one of them. So there's 28 other teams he wasn't going to. The better question is, should we have known that before we signed him and attempted to sign him?
Probably, yeah.
Now, Andy Scott, who is Mikko Rantanen's agent, was on the Fan Hockey Show. Oh, that's what he was on. Okay. And he said, we've got a ton of respect for Rod Brind'Amour, both as a player and as a coach, but in this situation, he's completely misinformed. Mikko, when he was traded, we were solely focused on Colorado, so there was no list of any kind. In fact, when he arrived there, I met him in the days following, and he was keeping a completely open mind about Carolina. He felt it out. It just didn't make sense from more of a hockey standpoint and a style of play standpoint, which, I mean, I think you can see that's the reason. I mean, listen.
Pretty obvious.
Jake Gensel was the same. And I know that people were like, well, Jake just wanted to play in Tampa. It's the offensive style guys that tend not to want to go to Carolina because they don't necessarily want to play that style. But that style is extremely effective, and they win a lot of games that way.
So what's weird, though, for Gensel is he was prolific.
Yeah.
As a Hurricane. In 17 games, he had 8 goals, 25 points, which honestly, that might be the best pace of his career.
I saw him play. I was at a game randomly. And saw Gensel play.
Did you enjoy him?
As a Carolina Hurricane. No, I did not enjoy him. He looked very good.
Oh, right. You weren't cheering for him. And then in the playoffs, he had 9 points in 11 games.
Yeah.
As good as he's always been. So he just didn't want to go there, man. He's a point a game this year with Tampa, which is down from what you'd expect.
And here's how Andy Scott finishes it off. He's like, this is a player that had a right to determine where he was going to play for the next 8 years of his career. He gave it a lot of thought, even at 4 Nations. After 4 Nations, he hadn't made up his mind, and ultimately he did make up his mind, and we helped Carolina out by providing a list of teams at that stage in terms of where he would go. But that is the truth. That's how it unfolded. Anything otherwise is just not the case.
I think there's a lot of copium going on in Carolina.
I can't say I blame them. I'd be pissed too.
Well, why? You made the trade.
Yeah, but I'm never happy when, do you think, are you going to be happy when Mitch Marner goes, I have the right to test free agency, and then leaves?
No, but I think that's very different because if Mitch walks and the Leafs get nothing for him, they made the mistake
Not Mitch.
2 years ago. Was he a pain in the ass during the process? Well, I'll let you tell that side of the story. I am not sure what the answer is. But when it comes to MIkko, you just went, huh, and you traded all these assets and you got him and you're like, welcome to Carolina. And he's like, okay. And you're like, here's a contract. And he's like, no, I don't really want one. Oh, okay. Well, go out there and light it up. Also, no. Oh, okay. Well, we'll trade you. Okay, bye. Oh, are we better in right now? No. Oh, okay. Are we better later? Yes. Then victory is declared. No, it isn't. Like
Even the governor of the state said that Mikko
saw
Rantanen
that.
had fumbled.
Former governor.
Sorry.
Listen, Carolina might be fine. They might even win the cup.
I think they'll be fine.
They might even win the cup. Honestly, like Stankoven's fit in really well. Stankoven is a great fit.
Yep.
Jankowski, someone tweeted, oh God, who was it? He had a 2-goal game in Carolina, and in 3 years in Nashville, he didn't have a single one. like the bad Nashville, the good Nashville, all the Nashville, he didn't have one, and then he had one with Carolina. They might be fine. They got all these futures and everything, but it's difficult to view them as better immediately than how they started off.
Jesse, has any of this back and forth changed your perception of how that all happened? And just so people know, your perception before the Brenda Moore, Andy Scott back and forth was what?
That they messed up this deal.
And how do you feel now?
They messed up the deal. I think even though like they're playing really good hockey, they're on a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Since the trade deadline, they've beaten Winnipeg and Tampa. 2 great wins. Like, awesome, you're playing good hockey. That doesn't mean you didn't mess up this asset. I think Eric Tulsky messed up the trade by trading for Mikko Rantanen when he could not sign to an extension, and they ended up with less value overall for this season. In the end, in 4 years, when all of your draft picks come due, or you make moves at this draft to acquire players with those draft picks, you might be better.
They're pitching those. They're going to do something insane at the draft.
You might be better next season, but if we're evaluating just that trade, you came out this season net negative. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, where my criticism comes is you did not win this deal because you were trying to win the cup this year, and you did not accomplish that for your team by getting better at the trade deadline. So I feel like that's fair criticism. If you want an overall view of down the line, you're probably going to end up positive. But right now it's a negative, but in the end, in a few months or a few years, you'll probably be positive. So I think that's that. Nothing you can say now about the fit or him not wanting to play there can change my mind on that.
I think we deserve a Carolina-Colorado final. We deserve it. After Colorado knocks Mikko out. We deserve it.
I was going to say, wouldn't you want Dallas, Carolina? For the Mikko side of it?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Oh.
Oh, ooh! Given the no, you know what? Dallas is probably better.
Yeah. And Carolina's got a good shot of coming out of the East.
Oh yeah,
which is crazy. Well, and then if they do we look back at this trade differently? Like, how could we say they messed up if they achieved their goal, which is a deep playoff?
I think you're allowed to say the team was good before. They're good now. And they could do damage in the playoffs in a highly gettable Metropolitan Division outside of the Caps.
Yeah.
And as long as they don't have to play the Caps in the first round, they're going to make the second round, I think. And so, and you never know what could happen to the Caps in the first round. Maybe some injuries. You have no idea.
Who knows?
You have no idea. But my point is, it's okay to say they were good before. They probably got less good without Marty Nietzsche, but long term got better. And Jack Drury. But they're going to be fine today. Mm-hmm. And even if their playoffs are good, I still think it's okay to say they kind of screwed this up.
You fumbled it.
But that's okay.
No team.
Like they didn't leverage their entire future on this.
No team. Well,
they got better in the future.
Yes. Yeah. No team in a divisional playoff spot right now who has more draft capital right now than the Hurricanes.
No, they're set up perfectly for the future, and they're competitive right now.
Do something crazy. Do something crazy. But just do the Pettersson deal. Just do it. Give us that.
That might be the mistake.
Give us that. Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't think they should do that.
They probably shouldn't.
I do want to know what's up with his knee. If his knee is really that, Jesse, you mentioned the knee thing.
Yeah, he's been dealing with that knee injury for like a year now. Like maybe that's just it.
And maybe get it whatever it needs to be done on it, you probably need to do that.
Hey, if somebody's playing awful for a year, shut them down.
Yeah. Weird how that.
I don't know, guys. Maybe you just don't let them play with that knee injury.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Now, there was a report by Paul Bissonnette that Rasmus Dahlin wanted out of Buffalo.
And he was so happy.
Rasmus Dahlin, he's always so happy. That's what I've noticed about Rasmus, is he plays happy. He's no, but he's. I guess Biz said, I don't dig for this information. It's given to me by people. But apparently Dahlin met with Kevin Adams and said that if this doesn't turn around, I'm gonzos. And here's what Dahlin said: I want to be moved. I don't know what he's talking about. I've never said I want out of here. I'm not happy where we're at. I don't want to lose. We have to get better. I never said I want out of here. I thought I was pretty clear.
So I think there's some truth spread around.
He also said, I get pissed off by that. I haven't been mentioned with the word leave before. So yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It seems like an authentic emotion. I do believe he had a sit down with Kevin Adams.
I mean, after a season like this, they should have a sit down. Multiple, maybe.
Yeah, I think the waters maybe got muddy. Like one of the things I thought was very funny when I talked about the Rangers having their, little anti-Chris Drury meeting that they had a few months ago, is like one of the big pushbacks I got was, well, it wasn't a players only meeting. It's like, okay,
semantics.
They had a meeting though. They spoke about it.
Yeah, the semantics are irrelevant to the overall story you're trying to tell people.
Yeah, someone was like, "Oh, Vinny Trocheck said it didn't happen. So now what?" Oh, wow. So he was asked point blank, "Hey, did you have a meeting talking shit about your boss?" And he said, "No." Color me shocked.
Yeah,
guys. I'd be concerned if Dahlin didn't try to sit Kevin Adams down and have some sort of conversation with him. He's the captain. With the contents of that meeting, I don't know. They didn't, if I'm not mistaken, Biz didn't say Rasmus Dahlin wants out. He said, if things don't change, I'm gonzos, which is similar. But the difference is key. I don't want to be here if things don't change.
He's trying to make things work. He's like, if we can turn this around and we're winning, then I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, he's not demanding a trade right now.
Should Rasmus Dahlin be like, fuck yeah, keep me on the Sabres forever? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
They suck a lot, actually. And
I wouldn't want a player who thinks that.
Yes.
This organization has sucked for a decade and you want to be here?
Yeah.
Like, what? No, you should want to make this thing better, or you want to go somewhere where you can win, because winning's what matters.
No team in hockey has been more consistent over the past decade than the Buffalo Sabres. Derogatory. Like,
in a bad way, yeah.
They're always there at the bottom. Last year, they took a step. This year was another step back. I wouldn't be surprised if he said something along those lines.
Yeah, here was what Dahlin said in response to Spit and Chicklets when he was asked about it in his scrum. This was posted by the Buffalo Sabres themselves.
Ooh.
There's a clip circulating on social media from the Spit and Chicklets podcast that said, if you guys don't figure this out soon, you want to be moved. Is that accurate?
Who?
Paul Bissonnette.
Who wants to be moved?
You.
I want to be moved?
You said you asked it. You told Adams
that I want to be gone from Buffalo? No,
change.
I don't know what he's talking about. I've never said I want out of here. I'm not happy where we're at. I don't want to lose. We have to get better. But I've never said I want out of here. I thought that was pretty clear.
So you would definitely say that podcast from Bissonnette is false?
I mean, I don't even. That bugs me, actually. I get pissed off by that. I haven't even mentioned the word leave. So, that's just how it is. If guys don't want to be here, then you don't want to be here. You can't really do anything about it. But I don't see that in this room. We have a lot of really, really good competitors who wants to turn this around, and that's what gives me the most hope.
Maybe he didn't use the term leave. He used the term not stay.
Also, like
uproot.
They explained what Bissonnette said. Like
Yes.
he said that you had a meeting about, hey, if things don't turn around, you're going to want out. And Dahlin denied wanting to leave right now. He did not deny going to Kevyn Adams and saying, we need to get better. And he even admits, like, we need to get better.
Yeah.
So I think, like, Bissonnette's report is right that he said that Dahlin went to Kevyn Adams and said that we want to get better.
Now,
because that's all Bissonnette said.
Well, and I will say, no one in all of hockey is as good an actor as that. Like he seemed authentically upset.
Yes.
Not a hard place for him to get to, honestly, though,
No.
based on the way he plays. He's pretty upset most of the time.
He's going to be so good in the playoffs one day.
That's what I mean. Like, he's a monster.
And
yeah.
I would be upset too if I had a meeting with my boss and then now people are just chatting about it on a podcast. Like, I would want that out.
And before Sabres fans turn on this guy, I'm not saying you will, but there's a history. I think.
Oh dear.
I think Rasmus Dahlin is the person best positioned to get the Sabres winning again. And it's not from his play on the ice. It's from him threatening to go. Yeah. If he did say, listen, in the future, I'll have to consider my options, which is probably what he did say, the Sabres have got to do something about that. They really do. And hey, you know what's crazy is that they had to do something about that mid-season, and then they said, we're not going to do anything. And then they traded for they traded Dylan Cousins for Norris.
Josh
Norris. I wanted to say Morris for some reason. I don't know why. It's probably because I got up way too early this morning. And I think that's the key here. Is like when your star players who you did commit $80 million to in this particular case say, yeah, I probably don't want to be here long term if you guys are just going to futz around. And that is going to spur action. Fans being mad, media asking questions, people bringing palm trees to the rink. That hasn't worked. It should have embarrassed them into action, but it hasn't worked. Okay, so now we got our captain sitting down with the general manager going, this sucks, man. And this is on you.
The well is poisoned, and that nothing is going to change until that changes. I pay attention to what people are saying, and someone brought up Jack Eichel talk about, I've never heard Sabres fans this loud. I think it was last year or the year before, or whenever it was. It was his return to Buffalo. And then someone posted a clip of Jeff Skinner scoring an OT winner back when he was with Buffalo, and the roof is going to blow off the place.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And they're like, well, what about this, Jack? And then Dylan Cousins said something in Ottawa about, I got chills down my spine from the reaction that he got from Ottawa, and he scored a big goal for them. Might have been the game winner recently. And people were like, well, the very valid point I saw was, well, Dylan, the Sabres might have done better if their $7 million second line center didn't completely friggin' disappear. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a fair criticism. But things keep going wrong for them. Nothing goes right. And, if something does go right, okay, Tage Thompson goes from the wing to center and it somehow makes him better. And it can't just be one thing. Like every year we're like, oh, well, they did this, they did that. Yeah, but it's not enough. And that's for other NHL teams. For the Sabres, they just can't string together enough good things as an organization to be even remotely competitive.
This should be a good thing for Sabres fans, like this whole conversation, because if it ends up lighting a fire under Kevyn Adams' ass to get up and do things, then good.
Yeah.
Like, you should be happy that you guys are being talked about right now in terms of a superstar leaving if you don't get things done, because maybe that forces the organization to get things done.
This is an ownership thing. Their only path forward. I've gotten a bunch of texts. Friggin' Dwayne keeps messaging me about overpaying Marner this summer. Like the Sabres.
Marner's not going to Buffalo.
Oh, I don't know. Well, their only path forward is to... how else do you get talent? Like, you're going to have to offer someone an egregious amount of money. Because, it's hard enough keeping guys in Carolina right now. Like, an organization's reputation precedes them. It's.
I mean, the guys
difficult.
in Carolina tend to be fine resigning there.
Yeah, it's difficult.
I mean, as RFAs though, like the UFAs leave, they get bigger money
to
elsewhere.
Get guys to come to Buffalo and stay.
Yeah,
it's really, really hard.
Yeah, that's why Greenway and Zucker are staying, right? Because it was like, hey, we're trying to build a culture here. It's been transient.
Let's overpay them so they'll.
And for Greenway, we were like, holy shit, what? Yeah. They're paying them what?
And as Leaf fans, we have no disrespect. And sorry, Jesse, just give me one sec. We have no disrespect of Buffalo Sabres fan culture or fandom. I remember.
No, they're hardcore.
They were our arch nemesis and kicked the Leafs' ass.
I hated the Sabres as a kid.
Me too. It was like a miserable game on the schedule because they played a trap game. Mike Pekka shut down Matt Sundin. Dominic Hasek stopped everything else. It was brutal. And so when they are able to figure this out, it's going to be great in Buffalo. And it's going to be one of those places where, like Edmonton, 7 or 8 years ago, before McDavid shows up, people were like, I don't know, nobody wants to play there. And now everybody's waving their no-trade clause to go to Edmonton. I think we're headed in that direction eventually if this organization doesn't sit on its hands. Jesse, go ahead.
Based on everything that we have in terms of evidence of how the Buffalo Sabres are run, Terry Pegula will not open up the wallets to offer Mitch Marner the contract he wants in free agency, and he's not going to Buffalo.
Man,
I don't. There's no evidence that anything is going to turn around here.
No, there isn't.
So we're just gonna wait and see.
Call the Islanders and get Engvall. He's locked up.
Interesting. Cam York, 24-year-old defenseman, Philadelphia Flyers, was sat by John Tortorella this weekend, and he said if there was communication, then maybe I would understand, but there was not communication, and he did come back. And
players yip at Tortorella in the media, eh? Like, this isn't the first time in Philly.
No, it wasn't. Was it Couturier last?
Couturier, and I want to say there was another one.
Who was the captain?
Farabee. Couturier's
it was him last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he did get an assist. He was -2 last night, but he's playing like top competition. He had a shoulder injury this year. His scoring's down. I'm just... is this another John Tortorella just sending a message? He said he's been inconsistent since the shoulder injury. Could it be the shoulder injury?
It could be. But, okay. You have a tough job as a coach of a non-playoff team this time of year because everyone is raising the standard.
Mm-hmm.
All teams in the league, unless there's, significant injuries, are playing better hockey today than they were in October. All of them. They're just a more well-oiled machine. The coach has told you everything 40 times. And I guess he's trying with his team that is not going to make the playoffs to keep them from letting their standard slip. Last year, they were in a playoff spot most of the year.
Yep. And the standard slipped right at the end.
And the stretch showed up, and they died. So he's trying to keep everyone awake. Who knows? You could screw around and make it. They're not gonna. But you need to establish these habits. You can't randomly be like, all right, this is our go for it year after years of playing meaningless hockey down the stretch. He's trying to keep it up. I don't see that as a bad thing at all.
Speaking of teams that have not kept their standards, let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. They had a team meeting. We mentioned this.
Sorry, one more thing on Cam York.
Sure.
I looked this up just to confirm. He's second on the Flyers in average ice time. So this is them sending a message to a guy who they clearly see as very important.
Yes.
He's only behind Travis Sanheim, who is on Team Canada.
And they've been very happy with the progression of Jamie Drysdale as well. So, I mean, they're building a younger
Drysdale's
defense core.
5th. He's at 1941. He's averaging nearly 20 minutes a night.
It's pretty good.
Yes, it is.
Jesse, I just want to bring up this picture, if we can. I've just sent it to you. Now, the Leafs, talking about standard slipping, had a meeting on Sunday. Berube said, enough of that shit. The guys like Lawton and Carlo were like, I just got here.
Oh.
And look at this Superman punch of Simon Benoit, who this was not the last penalty he took in this game. But this is very cool.
Should have been.
Wish that he'd connected on it. But it was pretty cool.
Kesselring, though.
GSP said he telegraphed it too much. So that's why he didn't connect with it. It was very funny that George St. Pierre weighed in on it.
That is cool.
If you look at this bunny punch, rabbit punch, or whatever you call it, Superman punch. Yeah, but no. what Bieksa did was a Superman punch. This punch made me appreciate what Bieksa did so much more because Bieksa friggin' explodes into that thing and he goes straight into the punch. Not a single motion was wasted, whereas Benny
just goes up.
Straight up. Straight up and comes straight down. It looks metal as shit.
Now, that fight came after Michael Kesselring, who was on the receiving end, tried to injure Bobby McMahon. So Simo stuck up for him. And it's weird because it seemed to spark Utah.
Yeah, I don't love that.
The Leafs were up. And then Utah came back and tied the game. Now, the Leafs ultimately won it on a Marner goal in a shootout because it's Mitch Marner's season, baby, and we're all along for the ride. But, you know, guys, based on the team meeting, and remember that these guys have played 7 road games in 16 nights.
No team meeting is going to change the fact that you're dog tired. And this was another game where the Leafs came out hot and just had nothing left in the tank by like halfway through the game. These guys are dead. Like they're so exhausted. And I know no one wants to hear that on account of their pro athletes. Listen, you can make it up to us by doing well on this homestand, but you can tell these guys are just fighting it so bad.
Jesse, what were your takeaways from the game? Do you think that the team meeting had any sort of effect?
One of my biggest takeaways is that Brandon Carlo is still getting really adjusted to this team. He had a horrific game.
I disagree.
Good.
I disagree.
Let's hear it. Let's have it out on the show.
No. Well, here.
Wow.
I want to hear what you have to say, and then I'll.
I thought he was out of place a number of times, and it was
Yes.
the most apparent on the game tying goal where he was on the wrong side of the ice because Tavares had the man in front.
No, that was 3-2.
There's 3-2 goal.
Yeah.
Okay, wrong goal. 3-2 goal where he's on the wrongs. He comes in the zone and he doesn't
It's bad.
He doesn't pick up the man that's going right to the net and he leaves somebody right in there in front wide open. And I think little things like that in the NHL when you're on your game don't happen and they can't happen in the playoffs. And I think he's still getting adjusted to this team. And I want to see this team when they have all played together.
Yes. Valid. The mistakes he's making to me don't worry me because they are very much I just got here mistakes. Listen, that was ugly.
It led directly to a goal.
In
A tie game
Yes.
that went to a shootout. So one goal has a huge effect on the entire
It's
game.
bad. But shift in and shift out, I'm watching him. And I'm like, you want a puck battle there? Got that guy off. Phrasing. He got that guy off the puck. He that's a good stick check. Oh, good takeaway. He strung together a lot of good things. His bad was bad.
Yeah, and like those little things he was doing, I found it a lot of he's doing things because he's not playing within the system right now. Like I saw him going into the corners a lot, trying to get guys off the puck and straying from things he probably normally wouldn't do if he was comfy in with his defensive pairing. Now they are missing guys. And OEL went out halfway through the game.
Oh yeah, then came back.
Yeah. So it was a little. They're all kind of filling in more than they need to be. So I didn't think he had a great game. I think it's just after the trade deadline, waiting for this team to be full strength and all played together and get some practices.
And they are practicing now. They got their greens on because it is St. Patrick's Day week. Interestingly enough, Steve, their practice jerseys are all green. Like you keep saying,
I am going to become the Joker.
But Chris Tanev is on the ice too, and so I think that's a good sign. Now, so like the Utah game is something where I think people are. I understand the frustration because they haven't played great lately.
Yeah, Mitch Marner did not have a good game.
No, that giveaway in the first period was that was like the first shift. I was like, oh my god,
he had like 3 of those.
Yeah,
he fought it all night.
But
and then he gets the shootout winner. Mm-hmm. You know, but. What was that hand gesture he made after the shootout winner? You see that?
It was like
he goes like that. Like what was he?
Like a fuck off or kind
fuck off? Like I don't know.
I don't know what it was.
There have been so many times this season where he's done a good thing and then looked upset after, and I don't know. He's that guy's a mystery. He's the reason they won that game, but also fought it.
I want to ask you guys this. So the lineups for today have been posted.
Sorry, the reason they won the game was Joseph Woll. Anyway, yes.
So, because I full disclosure, I didn't watch the full game. I caught part of it, but I've been waking up to fill it on my mom's show, so I missed that one.
They looked great in the first half.
And that's what I saw.
Died.
I stayed awake till 11 and got up at 4.
They didn't just have the lead; they were the better team.
Yes,
like very clearly.
And then
everything went away.
And then I woke up in the morning. I'm like, shootout win? How?
They were awful.
Even OT was like they got like that fucking when Nylander was out there for 3 minutes straight.
Nylander, Domi, McCabe. They just they got to a point where I was like, just go to the bench, just leave,
play 3-on-2 for a little, just walk off.
Because there was a. Nylander said after the game he was out there so long that he recovered.
Because he was. And so Adam, you might have missed this in OT, but it was 3-on-3. Obviously.
Oh, I read this quote. Keep going.
Yeah, Nylander is just standing in the middle of the zone, not doing anything.
And I'm yelling at the TV, just go off.
He's just kind of reaching his stick this way when the puck goes that way, reaching because he was out there for 2 minutes straight.
And he said,
couldn't do anything.
I think he said to the reporter after the game, he's like, I almost felt like I was rejuvenated on the ice. He's like, I felt like I was ready to go again.
Because he just stood there and took like 5-10 deep breaths because he was dying.
But that 3-on-3 kind of showed me like, okay, a better team would have capitalized on that. So there is a difference in skill level still with the Leafs and a team that's still fighting for a playoff spot in Utah. In that if Utah had the horses that Toronto have, I think like if Marner, Matthews, and Nylander are out there or whatever, Riley, they probably can finish that game off and Utah couldn't.
Clayton Keller's so good.
At least we should be happy that our team's good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, listen, having a good team also rules.
Even their worst is okay.
We're getting close to a lineup that I think is optimal for the playoffs with these lines, okay? Now, keep in mind, Tanev is going to be the 7th defenseman here.
Okay.
Which makes sense based on his play. No, I'm kidding. He's coming back from injury. They're taking their time with him. Okay? So here we got, Nyes, Matthews, Marner. That's not surprising.
Got it.
Your first surprise is on the second line. Can you guess it?
Is it Yarncroke, Tavares, Nylander?
It sure is. Nice guess.
Well, that's what it was in Utah.
Okay. Well, then who's the next one?
McMahon, Lawton, Domi?
Yep.
Okay.
And last line.
Is it still Holmberg, Kampf, Lorentz?
It is. You're not into it. You want Robbie.
Listen, Robertson has been such a defensive liability. Over the past month, he's been very good, I think.
He has.
And Holmberg just is busy nothing. And is that the point of the fourth line? Is just busy nothing?
But they do get pinned sometimes with Robertson on the point.
Okay, but he also has a vague chance of maybe scoring, which you don't have again with Holmberg if there's a goalie in net.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not into scratching Robbie. He's been good. I think you reward guys who have been good. Holmberg has been on the second line a lot. Was it good? Was he generating chances? Was he laying the body? Was he... I don't know. I don't like Robertson sitting. I'm not a fan.
Question.
The rest of it's good.
Question for you guys.
Sure.
Can you tell me the amount of goals that Holmberg, Kampf, and Lorentz have combined for this year?
The whole season.
Yes, the entire season. Holmberg has played 52 games, Kampf 51, Lorentz 62.
15.
15? Okay, Jesse, what do you think?
10.
Well, stupid Steve Dangle. It's exactly 15. That's amazing.
Because Holmberg has 6, Lorentz has 5, Kampf has 4. Sorry.
This fucking guy, right? Come on.
That's
crazy. You got to give it to him.
There's no Leafs trivia game we're playing with Steve where he's not going to get it.
Nothing sneaks past you.
Well done.
I think we're getting close to playoff lineup there. Mm-hmm. How have we thought? I felt like Scott Laughton had a bit of a wonky game against Colorado, although the entire team did it. People are like, oh, this guy looks bad. I'm like, first game in a new system, one of the best teams in the league, and the team around him
terrible first game.
Yeah, and the team around him is exhausted.
And
so
he took a really you would have been in bed for this. He took a really stupid penalty.
What did you think of the rest of his game, other than the stupid penalty?
Fine.
Okay.
Good penalty killer.
Yeah.
Good penalty killer. But again, like, there were times where I'm like, he's a bit lost.
And
I think they need a practice.
Yes.
Like, I think Lawton's the same way I looked at Carlo, is like, you're not comfy out there. I didn't think he was comfy.
Was it you who was like, wait, Scott Laughton was coached by Craig Berube?
No, that wasn't.
No, he was though years ago.
My
in Philly.
brain refuses to retain the info that Craig Berube used to be the head coach of the Philly Flyers.
Yeah,
Will not retain
the Leafs are his
that
third
information. Nope, his first job was in St. Louis, according to my brain.
Yeah,
Will not retain that information. Don't know why.
funny. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, so they get him in the system and that sort of thing. For Carlo and for Laughton, the challenge is going to be finding your place in this system in a very limited amount of time, which is why sometimes waiting for the trade deadline, as much as it has to happen, is not the best idea because you want to give people time. And I can remember when the Leafs ultimately won the series, but when Jake McCabe came on, I was like, this defenseman's awesome, but he doesn't get the system yet. But I was like, this guy rocks. Like he's sick. But you could tell in that Tampa series, and occasionally I think too, they made him like run a power play because Morgan Riley, I think, had to sit out or something. It was rough.
Him and Brody was the pair. And they had some nights where they looked really good and some nights where they were holding on for dear life.
And then he comes to training camp, has a great training camp, and then last year he was sick, and this year he's been sick too. And they love him. The reality is that the team needs to win. And yes, both guys are under contract next year, but you got to get Laughton and Carlo into that system more than just practice. What do you say to them? Like, okay, being Riley's defense partner has been a very interesting saga for the entire time we've done this podcast. It's been a question. Okay. What do you need to do if you're Brandon Carlo to be Morgan Riley's defense partner?
Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Let him be an offensive defenseman because that's what Riley is, ideally. I think he's got like 20 points this season.
Which is crazy.
It's unbelievable to me he ever scored 20 goals and 72 points.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to me. That's what Luke Shen did. Riley had probably his best offensive output of any playoff ever. And he had a stay-at-home defenseman next to him. And I don't think that's a shock. Like, who's Riley had? I know we always do this, and Riley
do we have
a common denominator. Well, okay, he's been on there with guys who are viewed as defensive defensemen, but
like
are
Ron
actually enormous liabilities. Hainsey was just old and left-handed.
It worked a little bit with Bouch the two times they tried it.
It worked a little bit with
22
Bouch.
and 24.
The worst example to me is Cody Ceci.
Oh, terrible. Terrible. And yet
Well,
they would
no, but he's the defense guy. No, he's brutal, actually.
And people were like, he was great in Edmonton. Yeah, in Edmonton, he wasn't a first pair defenseman.
Also,
he
no,
was
he
a
wasn't.
third pair. And no, he wasn't. They scratched him in the finals. I don't know what do you want me to
He
say?
was adequate. Every time he's been good, he's been adequate.
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh, he'll be great in Dallas. I can't wait for him to the cup there.
Zaitsev. Like, stop. No, there's a reason Hakanpää played 2 games as a Leaf, and both were with Riley. That's why they got him. They got him for that role. And now, that's what I thought they got Tanev for. I put it this way. If it doesn't work with Carlo, I'm not moving Carlo.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Like, this is it. I think we do need to say that. If we can't find you a defense partner, and like if Brandon Carlo is not enough.
Make it a good one. Oh, it's Brandon Carlo. Okay, well, that's a pretty good one. It has to work. It has to work. And if it doesn't, then I know he's got a full no move, but you got to try.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, hopefully they do get that sorted out. Now, for Scott Laughton, gentlemen, I want to hear both of your thoughts on this. What kind of game do the Leafs need him to play in between McMahon and Domi?
You ever worked out with a weighted vest to make things harder?
Well, yes. Look at this body.
Yeah, well.
Clearly, every day.
All right, Scott, we need you to be our best defensive forward. So anyway, Max Domi's going to be on your wing. That is what I think he's doing. No, that line needs to generate offense by forechecking the shit out of you.
Which they can do.
McMahon can do it. Laughton can do it. Domi can do it. And they have the offensive talent to score. Are they going to score an abundance of goals? I don't know. Probably not. But McMahon can score. Domi can set up. And Laughton can do a little bit of both. So they
babysit a little too, maybe?
Yeah. They just got to annoy the opposition. Craig Berube likes a forecheck game. and they got to be an offensive option because there have been too many nights this season where the third line was either not an offensive option at all or were an offensive option but were an enormous liability while doing it.
Right.
So you got to be, I don't know, just freaking good at it.
Jesse,
200 feet.
Yeah, you have the opportunity to create the best third line that we've seen this year so far, because this actually
What a bar.
I know it's not a high bar, but this finally makes sense. These three players together, if it all meshes together, Domi's going to set everybody up because he's never going to shoot and score, and then Lawton's there playing defense, and then McMahon's got to be the guy to finish, and Lawton can do a little finishing as well, but they're gonna play good defense, hopefully outside of Domi. Hopefully the other two guys can take care of that and generate a couple of goals, because nothing we've seen so far this season has worked. This is your final chance for something to work, because this is probably what it's going to be going to the playoffs, barring any injuries. So I hope it works.
One thing that I have to mention, so the Leafs didn't have Bobby McMahon in the playoffs last year, and it hurt them.
Well,
he was really good.
Along with Nylander and Matthews too, right? Like a good chunk of it.
So here's the problem. The Leafs haven't had Bobby McMahon for about 2 weeks. Problem is he's played every game. So Bobby McMahon had 3 shots on February 22nd against Carolina. After that, here's every game for just shots on goal. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. Nope. Like we're talking about ways to get Nick Robertson back in the lineup. It might be scratching McMahon, and I love Bobbert McMobbert. If he's not dealing with an injury, then I don't know what the hell. Like the stretch of games right before that. 5 shots, 3 shots, 1, 7, 5, 1, 3, 3, 2, 3. Right into 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0.
What you're listening to is Steve during a grade 11 math test.
Yeah.
Just lots of numbers.
Well, and Berube has been like, oh, okay. This, you could tell Berube's not happy with his play. 16 minutes, 17 seconds. Okay. A hair under 13, a hair under 13, a hair under 14, 11 and a half, a hair under 15, up 10:44, and a hair under 13. He has to be better because this guy's sick when he's on, but he's working himself into healthy scratch territory, which is not something I ever thought I'd say.
Scott Lawton played 11:54 in the game against Colorado. He played 13-14 against Utah. And remember, he did have the penalty too, so that probably hurt his ice time a little bit just because it takes you off the ice. I feel like
penalty killer.
At a certain point, Berube is going to get this back up to the 15 to 16 minutes he's averaged throughout most of his most productive years. Like when you look in Philly in 22-23 and 23-24, when he had his best seasons as a point getter, that's 43 and 39, 18 minutes and 15-39. Those are still a lot higher than 11. Mm-hmm. And I still think that they're going to need him at that 14 to 15 minute mark. That includes penalty kill time. Mm-hmm. You need him at that mark to be able to get the most out of him.
Ideally, if Lawton's ice time is down, it's because the Leafs didn't take any penalties.
Yeah, that's a good point, but that's not true.
Wasn't the case in Utah.
No, it wasn't. So tomorrow night is Florida. Steve, you'll be doing the stream.
Oh, God.
And Florida is 2 points up on the Leafs. They did lose, but the Leafs have a game in hand, and the game in hand will come in. Well, it's not really.
Technically, it's not actually. Yeah.
They're going to need to win this game, right? Like that's just what this is.
At minimum, you have 3.
Is this like a real, true must-win? If you want, because you gotta want the division. You need that in your soul.
I think the series is a must-win, so I'm going to stick to that. You have 3 games left against them. You have to come out with more points against them than they have against you. You got to win 2 of the 3. If you got to do it in the overtime or shootout, whatever, so be it. You have to win 2 of the 3 at minimum.
Jesse, is tomorrow the big game, or are you with Steve? Look at the season series for the remainder.
No, this is as must-win of a March game as there's ever been for the Leafs, like a mid-March game. Because, this is an opportunity to get – it's really like a 4-point swing, right?
Yes.
You're taking away the win from the Panthers and you're gaining the 2 points.
No Kachuk.
No Kachuk, no Ekblad,
Marchand, no
Marchand.
Ekblad. What do you want?
This is the chance to take advantage of this team, and the Florida's been playing well, so it's going to be hard no matter what. But I don't know. I think the Leafs have to win this game.
Yep.
I agree with you.
They have Marchand so much.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So Jesse, even if they do say they lost this game and then won the next two, in theory that might only pull them even.
Missed
with Florida.
opportunity.
Yeah,
you have to look at that game as a missed opportunity.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially with how fresh the Ekblad suspension is. Things can't be comfy there. You just had him on or Monday, when the suspension came down that afternoon. Now you get to play them right off of that. And at home, they've traveled here. There's going to be a media storm asking them a whole bunch of questions tomorrow, myself included. So it's going to be a game I think they got to get.
And they also, the Bruins did beat them.
Yep.
The Bruins with 5 regulars they just
Bruins
traded.
whooped Tampa too. Are they gonna screw around and make the playoffs?
I don't think so, but it would be fun.
What if they did?
It'd be really fun.
Man.
I'd love to see the one thing I would like to see is if Boston got in, I would want them in the first wild card spot. So if Florida wins the division, it's Marchand versus the Bruins. So I could just see the Bruins and Florida Panthers punch
Adam,
themselves.
My sweet summer child. The Leafs win the division and play the Bruins.
Yeah, that would be yeah.
Sweet summer child.
No, I know.
And lose
it's
anyway.
so true. Okay, so you know what? With that, unless you guys have anything else you'd like to hit, I'd like to do the press conference.
I think before that, we need to talk about Evan Bouchard. Because
you want to do this? I was going to leave it.
Why?
Because we went so hard at him last week. I was like, do we need to do this again? I feel like we're punching on this guy.
up when he looks funny again.
Okay.
He's just
What happened here? Okay,
he's catastrophic is what happened.
All right, you want? Let me play this in real time for the boys off screen.
Okay,
and then Steve, you can react, and then we can do a frame by frame breakdown for the people who are watching at home.
Maddie
and
can
for
do the
listening
little
audience.
NHL footage.
Yep.
All right.
All right, you ready? You
Yep, ready.
So Bouchard is in a foot race. He has the advantage. He has quickly lost the advantage, loses the puck battle. It's in the back of the net.
Hey,
that's what happened in real time.
Hey. Good call. That's a good goal.
Steve, hold on a sec. His knees were bent in this one, though. What happened?
Here, let's see.
What could possibly happen? Oh, look at Bouchard is the lead Oiler going back to his own zone. When do we ever see that? That's improvement.
Yeah, you're right. Look at him go. Look at him go. Easy stick lift. Thank you to Tage. And it's an Oilers goalie, so guess what? It's in the net. Third period, tied game, just like the last clip we talked about. That's not even his worst play from this game.
No, you don't think this one is?
No, I think it was another. Did Thompson have 2 goals in this game? I think it was another Thompson goal. He's cataclysmic. He's apocalyptic. He's one of the most fascinating, bewildering, big for nothing defenseman in all of hockey. There's a reason he wasn't on this team, the Four Nation face-off team. He's a non-option in his own end. Unless he's advancing the puck up the ice, then he's truly elite. But this is like prime Erik Karlsson without the skating ability or drive to play hockey.
I hate too how he doesn't cut back to where the puck went.
No,
I guess because it's a hard cut to make, but when he loses the puck and it goes back to the Sabres to Tage, Bouchard goes to the side of the net.
Anytime
he ends up over here, and I'm like, cut to the front.
Is that Pod Colson or something? Who's got Tage?
I think so.
Yeah.
92. Yeah. Anytime you see the ratings for a hockey game, add 1. Because he's watching. Every game he's watching.
What?
He's one of the biggest puck watchers in the
Oh my God. You mean like the TV ratings?
Yes.
Because he's watching.
He should count. And there's advertisements on the board, aren't there? He should count. He's one of the general viewing public watching these games.
I think you got to win that race back there, Bouchard. Yeah, there's Tage celebrating. The weird loss for the Oilers again. They have not played well. I believe they're 3-7 in the last 10.
They've been awful.
Standings. Not good. A game you should get against a lowly Sabres team at the point of the season where the LA Kings might pass you now for home ice advantage in your series that's going to come up against the LA Kings because all you do is play the LA Kings every single year. And if you're this cold heading into the playoffs, Adam and Steve, are you worried about the Oilers and this Kings matchup that's going to happen again? Matt,
It's not like the Kings have been awesome. They've won 3 straight, but they only have 5 out of the last.
I think
Matt,
for the
if you want
Kings,
those standings up.
I think for the Kings, the Oilers are more gettable than in any other year.
Yes.
And Edmonton might be 3-7 in the last 10, but they're still Edmonton. I've still seen McDavid in the playoffs. I've still seen Leon Draisaitl in the playoffs at the side of the net.
McDavid,
He's a monster.
is so good, but he's so human this year. And recently, especially.
So
Leon, to me, like I was talking earlier about giving Hellebuck a Hart vote, Leon's probably the front runner right now. Like he leads the NHL in goal scoring by 10. That's stupid. That's truly stupid. But I feel like we do this every year. We're like, this is the year the Kings do it. And it's never the year.
I think this could be, though. I really like the Kings this year.
I like them too. Byfield's crazy.
And to be honest with you, we were talking in the previous 3 years about how the Kings were going backwards. You know, the Pierre-Luc Dubois decision, the Sean Durzi trade, which worked out great for Utah. But we were like, hey, maybe we want to keep that guy. He's pretty good. And, you know, there's been some real question. Listen, I'm glad that it's working out for them, but that Joel Edmondson contract is still insane to me. It's an insane contract.
Yes. You're correct.
And they got their goaltending figured out,
Kemper,
unlike they have had.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, Kemper's been, that's the thing. The PLD trade actually worked for LA too. They got rid of a guy who didn't want to be there, and they got a goalie who wants to play and play well and revive his career. And I think if you, compare Oilers forwards to LA's forwards. Who wins that battle? 9 times out of 10. It's Edmonton. Right. Defense.
But in terms of guys,
defense.
LA.
Goaltending.
LA.
What usually wins in the playoffs?
The last 2 things. But even the Oilers' advantage up front, you got to look at how they're playing this season. They had a graphic, I think it was on Sportsnet, like everyone's down.
Yeah.
Everyone's down.
Yeah, because the team's not as good.
Jesse, I'm licking my chops.
We can do.
Is this the
There's
other?
a couple more thoughts on the Kings.
Hey.
Oh, no.
It's my birthday.
Yes. A couple more thoughts on the Kings.
I want Evan Bouchard misplays on my birthday.
And the Oilers-Kings matchup. But first, let's go back to goal number 1 of Edmonton-Buffalo, where Evan Bouchard also does not look good. Steve, do you want to watch this in real time? And then we can play it.
I wish, by the way, that we could bring back Dang It's and just have an Evan Bouchard edition.
Same. Oh, I easily could.
This is Evan Bouchard at the top there, Steve. So if you want to do play-by-play.
Let's go.
Are you ready?
I am so ready.
All right.
Bouchard is not on the screen. There he is, completely straight-legged. Here come the Sabres. He's standing stock still. And Tage Thompson. Oh, my God! Go back. I'm gonna call it.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Now I'm going to call it properly.
Call on it.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah. Tage with the puck in his own end. He takes it. He identifies that Bouchard is standing still, attacks his area, shoots it at Skinner. He can't handle the rebound, scores. Congratulations to Tage Thompson on scoring every goal against the Oilers.
Okay, Maddie, if you bring it up, Tage Thompson's entering the blue line. He's essentially going 1-on-1. It's kind of 2-on-1. The Oilers got 2 guys, but it's essentially 1-on-1 with Bouchard, the goalie, and Tage.
Who's 13?
For Buffalo?
Yeah.
Let me find out for you.
So what 13 is doing is basically
Josh Norris.
No wonder I didn't know him.
Yeah.
So if you go back a little, Tage is like there you go.
Yeah, there's Norris.
So I want to say he runs a little bit of interference there and knocks over that Oiler. But that allows Tage to attack. There you go. Tage is identified. Bouchard's standing still. He's standing still, literally standing still.
He's in position though, Steve.
Oh, frig off. I'm going to go for a little mosey over there, and I'm going to try my best. Because whoever Buddy is on the other side of the ice for the Oilers, he's not going to be able to get to me if I attack over here. So I am going to identify the weak link, which is and always will be Evan Bouchard until he decides he wants to do anything. Tage attacks him. He's got a good shot, uses it. Skinner stops it. There's a rebound. He scores. Who you got, Evan? Who you? Boo. Okay. Skinner should have collected that puck.
Yeah, 100%. Skinner's definitely the main reason this goes.
Oh, it's Wallman is the other player. Again, the new number's screwing me up.
I think Skinner, at the end of the day, is the main reason this puck goes in, because you have to squeeze this shot that's coming from the top of the faceoff dot and hitting you in the chest. But Evan Bouchard does not help anybody by not going back to the puck and standing still.
Go to about a second after the goal is scored.
Right there?
No, keep going.
Oh, more?
Just a little. Look at Arvidsson. Look at Arvidsson, who's been through so much and seen it all and been a part of some really good teams and some very defensively sound teams. Ugh. Look at Perry, who's won a Stanley Cup, been to the final God knows how many times. Ugh. They're sick of this shit. You can tell.
Adam, do you buy the line from Stan Bowman that goaltending is not a problem?
No. I don't think any Oilers fans do either.
No.
I don't buy the line that Stan Bowman should be a GM in this league, and it has nothing to do with what happened in Chicago. In fact, it's got everything. It's got everything to do with what happened in Chicago, because Stan Bowman dismantled what should have been a team that at least made one more run, probably two, at the Stanley Cup. This guy, I go back, and if you don't believe me, go back and look at his moves history.
Now, in his defense, he wasn't the GM after Chicago won that third cup in 2015. It was Kane and Taves.
Yeah, which is a GM problem.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I'm making fun of him.
I think...
Who should we get back? All of my friends! Oh, okay.
What I didn't understand...
That works.
The Oilers made the finals, have McDavid, could have had the pick of the litter in terms of available GMs. Maybe the talent wasn't there that they thought, but I was like, Stan Bowman. Did not have a good finish in Chicago, man. They just got out from under Stan Bowman's Seth Jones contract, right? This is a guy with some highly questionable player eval moves. And frankly, the Oilers organization, although they've gotten better, have a history of highly questionable player evals. They're not always great at that. And I'm seeing what I saw from Stan Bowman this summer. I didn't mind the Jeff Skinner signing. I just thought, that seems like a lot of money.
See, this summer is tricky, though, because it's difficult to remember what was Jeff Jackson and what was Stan Bowman.
Yeah, that's true, because Stan didn't take over till August. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Can I read Bowman's quote from Friday? You know how every GM does a post-trade deadline presser? So Bowman spoke on why he didn't go sign a goaltender on trade deadline, or go trade for a goaltender on trade deadline day. Daily Hive out in Vancouver had the quotes. With our two goalies, probably the last stretch hasn't been their best. And that's probably why there's a lot of attention, Bowman admitted. I try to look at things over the bigger sample. Our goalies didn't get out of the gate strong at the start of the season. And then from November until the end of January, I thought our goaltending was really solid. Ever since then, it hasn't been good. He continued, we're trying not to put too much pressure on the goalies, so they have to save games for us. I think we did a good job at that as a team for those stretch of months when our goaltending was performed well. I think our team game has escaped us a bit over the last probably 5-6 weeks, and as a result, it puts more pressure on your goalies. Thoughts?
Yeah, he's right.
Okay, we're forgetting that their starter had to be scratched in the playoffs last year, right? They had to pull their starter out and rely on Calvin Pickard.
And then he was unreal, though.
Yeah, okay, listen, man, that's awesome. That's cool. I just hope he's unreal for you at the time you need him to be. And listen, he could be. I was down on Binnington. He was unreal when Team Canada needed him.
Oilers had the most Oilers-ass playoffs ever in retrospect. They really did. They're the worst team here. They're the best team here. They are unbeatable. They wouldn't beat a junior team. That's what they are. They're down 3-0. Here we are in Game 7. It was an Oilers ass playoff run. I kind of hope we see it again. It was a lot of fun.
By the way, Jordan Binnington's been on an absolute tear. Has only lost one game since coming back from Four Nations.
He's on one of the most wild fuck you tours I've ever seen.
Hey, I'll eat shit, man. The guy's been great. He's awesome.
He's the reason I get to wear the shirt.
Yeah. So, anyway, to me, guys, I feel like we're we're getting to the point where Chicago fans were at in 18 and 19, where they were like, hey, this is a problem. And Chicago was like, I don't think it is. And then it became a huge problem, especially in the playoffs, if they even made it. And then they'd be like, well, I guess we got to deal with that situation. And the Chicago fans were like, yeah, we know. We told you. We've been watching the team all year. Have you? And Oiler fans, what's devastating to me in the McDavid era is the general manager choice has been highly questionable, and they made the finals anyway. And I wouldn't say, like, nobody today is going, man, Kenny Holland sure got the Oilers to the finals.
Well,
the decisions Kenny Holland made
depends who you
Well,
ask.
I'm sure as a paid consultant of the league, the people at the league who pay him to be a consultant would tell you Kenny Holland did it. I'm here to tell you that the best players on the Oilers are generational, and they got there way before he did. And the reason that Chiarelli didn't work out is because it's like, hey, these players are really good. Why isn't this working?
It should be so easy.
It should be so easy.
Yeah.
What's been devastating? There are two things that have been devastating for the Oilers. One, bad GMing or mediocre. Okay, because I don't think Bowman's great. I also don't think he's horrible. I thought Chiarelli was bad. I think Ken Holland was okay. Their goaltending, the entire time that the Oilers have had McDavid has been at best. Hey, he had a great couple weeks. Like Stuart Skinner took the team to the 7th game of the Stanley Cup Finals and didn't make Team Canada. They took 3 goalies, and the starter was a guy that hasn't been in the playoffs in a couple years.
Adam, I'm having difficulty concentrating.
What happened?
Because all I want to do is ask you a question.
Uh-oh, what is it?
1 year left at $3.9 million.
For who?
Evan Bouchard. And he's an RFA at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you get a shitload for that.
Oh, get out. They're not going to trade him. They're not going to trade him. They're going to work with him. How old is he? He's like 24? They're going to work with him. You can learn to play defense.
Yeah?
Well, you can. You have to want to, but...
Remember that Jake Gardner stuff?
Oh.
We'll another guy who he's offensive. He's got good numbers. Good things happen when he's on the ice, except for like one play a game where he like just kerplodes and forgets how the world works and physics and his assignment and anything. If they disappoint in the playoffs this year, they should have an explosive offseason. You got to move heaven and earth to keep Connor. And he is insane and wants to win.
Do you think that Connor's unaware of the situation? Because I think he knows.
Oh, I think he's quite aware.
Adam, I thought you were cooking with your point about Skinner not making Team Canada, and I was listening.
Thank you.
I wasn't.
I appreciate that.
Skinner, I mean, the door was wide open.
I think it's a great point that Sam Montembeau was chosen ahead of Stuart
Sam
Skinner.
Montembeau, who's been bad.
That's not great.
It's been okay.
Making Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final wasn't enough. Like Sam Montembeau still earned that.
I'll tell you though,
and like winning is such a prerequisite.
Yep.
And like Binnington won 6 years ago, and has been very up and down since. And he made Team Canada, and we were like, Jordan Binnington. Skinner was a win shy of having the permanent tag of winner forever. Mm-hmm. And now he doesn't have it.
It's not enough. Yeah.
It's not enough.
It's important to know that a lot of the Team Canada projections had Stuart Skinner on them last summer.
Yeah. I would have expected him to be, if we were making it in September, like our
starter.
Our teams, yeah.
The start. Okay, you have the starting goalie of the reigning Cup champs available, and you don't pick him, you're fired.
Mm-hmm.
You could have had this year's Cup winner, if they won, last year's Cup winner in Aiden Hill, and then Binnington in 2019. Any other team of 3 Cup winners in net?
I think the end of this, the point, I think from the standings is that the Kings this might be your year.
They are gettable this year.
The Oilers could go down.
And you watch the Oilers will roll them in 4.
Right.
And that's
we'll
how
it's
get clipped to
trending.
death. Yeah.
Hasn't it been 7-6?
Yeah.
5?
Yes, it has.
It's been counting down.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God.
That's why I'm selling my Oilers stock, but I ain't buying that.
Last thing to close it out. shout out the Ottawa Senators and Linus Ullmark, who was absolutely unreal against the Detroit Red Wings. He made 48 saves. He looks like prime Boston Ullmark, and the Ottawa Senators might be dangerous in this playoffs if they get this Ullmark throughout the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
For them.
Yeah,
If they end up in that first wild card spot, they got to play Toronto or Tampa.
Cousins looks
It
like a
could
real
be
good fit.
Toronto or Tampa against Ottawa. Like, it scares me if Ullmark is this good and they can get their timely scoring from Cousins, who scored in 2 straight games for the Sens, and like Kachuk's in there being Kachuk, and they're playing good defense. The Ottawa Senators could be a hard out these playoffs.
A Brady versus Matthews playoff series would be pretty cool, though. As much as Toronto, Ottawa would be cool, Brady versus Matthew would be like that would be a hell of a story. It'd be crazy.
I
He,
think
he goes from like helping his brother with his injuries to targeting them.
Yes, he probably knows what they are.
the biggest battle in a Battle of Ontario playoff series this playoffs would be Julian versus CJ. Julian, who covers the Ottawa Senators for The Athletic. CJ, who covers the entire league, but mainly the Toronto
Based
Maple
in
Leafs
Toronto.
for The Athletic. They're going head to head. We got to have a bet. So they got to have a bet.
Cute
going in that
journalist
series.
versus what's Julian's nickname? Jacked journalist.
Garbage man on account of he covers the Sens.
Oh, I don't think Julian's gonna take that, man.
GM.
No.
Listen.
So I'm excited for that battle.
That is hilarious.
That Battle of Ontario.
Okay.
That'll be good. And off of that game as well, where they beat the Detroit Red Wings. The Detroit Red Wings, they suck ass.
Yeah.
And they've fallen mightily over the last 3 weeks.
I just want to say, who keeps saying that? Who has said that? Who has said that for years?
Not Steve Yzerman.
Who has said that for years and been like, nope, they didn't improve this summer. Nope, they didn't improve this summer. Nope, they didn't improve. And everybody's like, no, Adam, you're wrong. Stupid.
Monday.
Dylan Larkin can't do this on his own, Stevie.
If Steve Yzerman's name was Dork McAnalytics, he would have been fired 2 years ago.
Dork McAnalytics.
Yeah, but he's
But
got
it's Steve Yzerman.
he's in the Hall of Fame, so he's hard to fire.
Monday's loss to the Sens extended the losing streak for the Red Wings to 6 games.
Guys.
It has been a long time since they have gained points in the standings.
They're this year's Flyers.
Yeah.
They're doing what Philly did last year.
Well, they're also last year's Detroit Red Wings.
Oh shit!
But
Yeah, and the year
that was
before.
more like a Larkin injury.
Yeah.
They kind of could have excused it, but the same thing happened last season.
This is you're just butt.
Hey, wouldn't have changed anything last year.
You're just butt.
The other thing I want to say is that, Steve Yzerman, he came on AP a couple years ago. He was great. I love
Okay,
the guy.
he's a good podcast guest. Good start.
Love the guy.
How are you as a GM?
Let him go. Let him talk.
But I think, and I say that with love in my heart, I think we're on Stevie watch now. If this, what's this losing streak at?
6.
If this gets to 7 or 8, I think 8's the threshold. I don't think it would ever get to 10. But if it got to 8, I think they fire him instead of in the offseason. I think they do it now.
No
If you
shot.
want,
no shot.
If you're not local to Buffalo or Detroit and you want to watch an out of market game tonight, Detroit versus Buffalo in Detroit is a good watch, because this is your get right game if you are the Red Wings. If you drop this one to the Sabres on your 6-game losing streak, how do you justify anybody's
That's
job?
perfectly timed.
This is your get right. You better win this damn game.
Sludge match. Just both bottom of the barrel. Let's go. I love a sludge
Hey,
match.
Buffalo just beat Edmonton.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I said I love a sludge
But
match.
they're still Buffalo.
Yeah, and hey, listen, Josh Norris could go off there. That guy could be a 90-point player, no question, and Buffalo Sabres made out like bandits. It can happen.
Yeah.
After Buffalo.
What?
On the schedule
Yo.
for the Red Wings.
Yeah,
after
you're picking
Buffalo.
it up, too.
Tonight they play Detroit. They play Buffalo at home. Then they have to go on the road to Carolina. They go home to Vegas, road to Washington, road to Vegas. And then that also leads into a Utah and Colorado back-to-back on the road.
Colorado's second
I don't-
half of a
like,
back-to-back
I don't see a lot
on
of
the
brutal.
road.
Brutal schedule.
Not a lot of gettable games there for the Wings.
No, this is the one.
This one and the Utah one, I'm like, they should probably win those. And
Yep.
then,
The Sens at home, your hope is that game means something. Your hope is that
your
that game
season's
means
not
something.
over. Yeah.
Same with Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But that
They're in a
stretch,
bad way.
Carolina, Vegas, Washington, Vegas, Utah, Colorado. You're already on a 6-game losing streak.
Score a goal.
If they lose tonight, we could reach double digits in the losing streak.
It scored 1 goal, 2 goals, 2 goals, 1 goal, 3 goals in an outdoor game. You lost 5-3. Score a goal. Oh man, that's Red Wings fans. I'm paying attention to what you've been saying online, and I am sorry.
A large, if you're paying attention to what they're saying online, large reason they've been screaming at this team to do something, or the reason they're not doing anything is the penalty kill of the Detroit Red Wings. That's a large reason they're losing all these games. They're last in the league in penalty kill. They only have a 0.5% penalty kill. That's not NHL level.
It's pretty nice though.
That's
like
absolutely
that penalty
brutal.
kill we were killing the Oilers 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
69.
I want to say that of all the fandoms out there, Detroit is one of my favorites. They are I find to be like really cool fans. They deserve better than this.
Adam,
they deserve so much better than this.
They do.
Maybe they can hire Stan Bowman in the offseason. Maybe they could be lucky enough.
I think we need to acknowledge 2 things though.
Give it to me.
Number 1, it's my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, because it's my birthday, Jesse, can you bring up the top power plays in the league?
Oh my God, we gotta wrap the show here. I don't think we're gonna get a press conference.
I'm
in.
having fun. No, this was the press conference.
Oh, this was
in
okay.
replace.
All
Yeah.
right.
Where are
What
the
you looking
Leafs? Where are the Leafs?
The Leafs are 8th in the league in power play percentage.
Adam,
Yeah.
kiss it.
Yeah, Adam.
Yo, I will kiss it. I'll kiss it.
Adam, who was
Apologize.
so mad at the
I'll
Leafs
kiss
power
it.
play for no reason at all.
I'll kiss it. Well, it was only in 28th. Why would I be upset?
Buy
It
a
was
Mark
never
Savard
at
jersey.
28.
It was actually.
Buy a Mark
It was
Savard
that
jersey
low.
right now.
Oh my God.
Kiss it, said
Get
Mark
a
Savard.
91 Leafs Mark Savard jersey.
Extend Mark Savard.
Extend him.
Extend him.
Leafs have the 8th best power play in the league, only trailing, Chicago.
Chicago?
At 7th.
Chicago?
The only thing keeping them out of the top 7 is the Blackhawks. That's weird.
Chicago?
That is a weird stat.
The Leafs are sandwiched between the Blackhawks and Penguins?
Yeah.
That should be a cause for alarm, except they're top 10.
Hilarious.
Hockey's dumb.
Detroit is 3 in the league in power play, but they rode like the craziest power play streak when they brought in the new coach.
Yeah.
Oh,
they had-
not Blashill.
McClellan.
Todd McClellan, he created like the most historic power play run ever. So they're still
And they
top
won
three.
like 5 or 6 straight, didn't they?
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
a good little winning streak.
I was like 2
You know
coaches
what?
behind. Wow.
I was brought up and told that the power play goals didn't matter and that you didn't win
Brought
games.
you up like that, Maryland.
I was told that
Maryland raised you.
I was told that those weren't actually important to a player's stats.
Adam
and that
scores
it
a power
doesn't-
play goal. Heron Park Arena, Maryland. Boo!
I was told
Those don't count. Adam.
I was told that that's not the biggest statistical differentiator between teams who win and teams who do not in the playoffs.
Yep. Special teams is so important to
No,
NHL
it's
teams.
not, Jesse, because it's not 5-on-5 expected goals.
There's a
for.
good case that just penalty kill is sinking the entire season of the Detroit Red Wings.
You're such a good sports host because you were wrong about something and you turned it around to be like, no, other people are wrong about something else. That is sports hosting 101.
No, I did, but I owned it. I owned the Mark Savard thing. I said I
For
will
5
kiss it.
seconds.
That's all you're gonna get. That's all you're gonna fucking get from me. Okay. All right.
All right.
right.
Now put on your headphones for me to hit the button.
Hit the button.
Do you remember?
My ears were hot.
There we go.
All right.
And he just kept talking.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
What do you want to talk about next? Nothing. Show ends in 3 seconds.
I was the one trying to wrap the show.
Stream tomorrow night again.
Steven, stream tomorrow night, and Steven stream Saturday night against the Senators, who the Leafs always play so well against.
You've been warned.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.